But it's all good, right?
I'm gonna think about it for a second.
Why do you need to think about it?
Because sometimes you're selfish.
Why are you crying? How am I selfish?
Because you just don't get it. You don't get it right now.
So you're this upset about it?
The fact that I have to explain to you why I was upset because you were late.
You saying that I'm selfish?
Yes. The thing is you don't care. You think about yourself.
It's times like this when I feel and wish that my sister and I were still close and I could, pick up the phone and call her. But that's just not where we are right now.
Okay, so let's spill the real tea about the drama between the Mowry sisters because things are getting pretty messy right now. It feels like everyone in the family can sense the tension building. First off, Tia's been going through a tough time lately. Her divorce from Corey Hardrick after 14 years of marriage hasn't been easy, and she's been really open about feeling stressed and lonely, just trying to figure out what her new life looks like. Divorce is such a huge change. And one thing I noticed was that I felt alone too after mine. You can have people around you, but there's this sense of isolation because it's something you're going through by yourself. Everyone just assumed that Tia's twin, Tamara, would be the one to have her back through all of this, right? I mean, that's what twins do, right? But hold up, things aren't as smooth as we thought. It turns out that Tia and Tamara haven't been as close for a while now. Back in the day, these two were inseparable. But now it feels like there's a distance between them. It's wild how things can change, isn't it? Once the epitome of sisterhood, Tia and Tamara were the ultimate duo, inseparable, always hyping each other up and effortlessly radiating positivity. Their bond seemed unbreakable as they supported each other's dreams and shared the spotlight together. But today, the twin sisters' lives have taken drastically different paths. Tia is fully immersed in the fast-paced world of Hollywood, grinding away in Southern California, where she's dedicated to building a career in acting. Meanwhile, Tamara has chosen a quieter, more settled life in the scenic Napa Valley, where she's surrounded by family and savoring the slower pace of life. Despite their shared history, their contrasting personalities have always been apparent. Tia is the adventurous spirit, always on the move, willing to take risks and embrace new experiences. Tamara, on the other hand, is more grounded and traditional, preferring the simplicity of family and a peaceful existence. It was perhaps inevitable that their lives would eventually diverge. However, the distance between them has grown deeper in recent years, and the state of their relationship is more strained than ever. This tension came to a head in an unexpected way during the holiday season when Tia wasn't invited to spend Thanksgiving with her family. Despite being part of the close-knit family for so many years, Tia was left out in a way that made it painfully clear how far apart they had grown. Fans quickly noticed the absence and began speculating about the state of their relationship, wondering aloud, how bad has it really gotten between the twins? It seems like the situation has hit a new low. The cracks in their relationship have been visible for some time, and they stretch all the way back to Tamara's wedding. When Tamara tied the knot, Tia wasn't as involved as one might expect from a twin sister, and that was deeply hurtful to Tamara. But the lack of participation in such a significant moment was a blow to their relationship. Tamara opened up about her feelings, saying, "At your wedding, I didn't step down when I was Tia's maid of honor. I was there for her 110%, so I expected the same from her." In her eyes, the bond they had shared should have been reciprocated, but when Tia opted not to be Tamara's maid of honor, Tamara was understandably upset. "When you decided you didn't want to be maid of honor, Andrea stepped up and she's been amazing," Tamara added, highlighting the shift in who took on the role. The divide grew even clearer when the topic of communication came up. Tamara has been vocal about how distant Tia has become, claiming she hasn't even communicated with me. Tia, on the other hand, defended her actions, saying, "Well, that's because you didn't want me to be maid of honor." The situation quickly became more complicated, with Tamara arguing that just because she didn't want Tia in the role, it didn't justify Andrea stepping in without consulting her first. For Tamara, this shift felt like an unnecessary betrayal, especially since Tia's absence left her feeling unsupported in a time when she needed her twin the most. Tia, on the other hand, has maintained that she worked hard to keep things intact. She feels like she was unfairly excluded from the decisions that were made, saying, "When you decided you didn't want to be involved, Andrea stepped in." Despite her efforts to make things right, Tia feels left out of the loop, which has caused the rift between them to widen. Tamara, who had hoped for a smooth and meaningful journey through her wedding planning, admits that things took a turn for the worse rather than improving. She has expressed that what was meant to be a moment of unity ended up feeling like an emotional burden. The situation, filled with miscommunication, hurt feelings, and unmet expectations, speaks volumes about the complexity of their relationship. Both sisters feel wronged in different ways, and it's clear that their once unbreakable bond has been tested by the personal decisions they've made. Whether they can overcome this rift or whether their differences are too deep to mend remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: this is no longer the picture-perfect twin relationship they once shared. Now here's where the drama kicks in during wedding planning. Tamara made it clear she wanted things low-key and simple, no wild stuff. She just wanted a cute vibe like a picnic. But guess what? Tia kept pushing for exotic dancers. Tamara wasn't having it. She was like, I just want a simple crown and some flowers. Tia probably thought it was a joke, but we all know wedding drama is a huge red flag in family relationships. But wait, it doesn't stop there. The wedding was just the start. The sisters even tried to go into business together, but that fell apart too. Tia's busy schedule kept getting in the way, adding even more tension. Over the years, there's been all this miscommunication, from wedding stuff to business ideas that never took off. Tamara remembers thinking, you said you wanted to be maid of honor, but you couldn't really do a lot of things, and I just thought, that's just Tia being Tia, I got used to it. Tamara also thinks Tia needs to be more open about her feelings, especially when something's so important to her. As Tamara entered a new phase of her life with marriage, her relationship with her twin sister, Tia, began to experience significant changes. For years, the Mowry sisters had been inseparable, but Tamara's commitment to her new life as a wife began to shift the dynamics of their bond. Tia, feeling increasingly neglected, voiced her frustrations to Tamara, telling her, "You don't spend time with me anymore." The response from Tamara, now fully invested in her marriage to Adam, was blunt: "Girl, I'm someone's wife now. What do you expect? I've been with Adam." While Tamara's response might have seemed dismissive, she also confessed that she was growing concerned about how Tia was adjusting to the changes. Tia, however, wasn't just hurt by the lack of attention. She felt that Tamara was losing sight of what truly mattered. She told her sister that she needed to stop focusing on her relationship and start putting more energy into her career. Tia, ever the advocate for balance in life, firmly expressed, when you get married, you can't lose sight of everything else going on in your life. These exchanges between the sisters marked the beginning of a divide that has only deepened over time. Tamara's focus was no longer on her career or the spotlight. Instead, she embraced a quieter, more family-centered life. As she got engaged and later married, it was clear that she was putting her relationship first. The once active actress, who had been a familiar face in Hollywood, gradually faded from the public eye. She prioritized her marriage, investing her time and energy into supporting Adam and his family's business and creating a family of her own. While she still participated in the occasional acting project, it was no longer her main focus. For Tamara, the quiet moments at home, the nurturing of her marriage, and supporting her family became the cornerstones of her life. In stark contrast, Tia seemed to be charging full steam ahead, determined to succeed in Hollywood. Her world was defined by hustle and ambition. She poured her energy into her career and personal projects, relentlessly striving to secure her place in the entertainment industry. Tia's drive to stay relevant in a constantly shifting industry was palpable, and it often made her sister feel excluded from her whirlwind lifestyle. While Tia continued to pursue fame and success, Tamara took a step back, focusing on the simplicity of family life. The gap between the two sisters grew wider as their individual paths diverged, one in pursuit of the fast-paced, glamorous world of Hollywood, and the other embracing a slower, more meaningful existence centered on family. Despite the distance that seemed to be growing between them, the expectation was always that family would stick together. The bond between twin sisters, especially one as deep and well-known as that of Tia and Tamara, was supposed to be unbreakable. Family loyalty and unconditional support were the foundation of their relationship, or so it seemed. However, as years passed, it became increasingly clear that even the closest relationships could crack under pressure. The tension between Tia and Tamara was only exacerbated by the pressures of their changing lives. The real turning point came in October 2022 when Tia stunned the world by announcing her divorce from her husband, Corey. For 2 decades, Tia and Corey had been the epitome of Hollywood's golden couple, an enduring symbol of love, happiness, and stability. Their relationship was admired by fans and peers alike, and they were widely regarded as the perfect pair. Tia and Corey had been together for 20 years, married for 14, and seemed to have everything anyone could want in a relationship. So when Tia publicly declared the end of their marriage, it shocked not only their fans but also the entertainment industry at large. The announcement of her divorce was a profound moment of vulnerability that sent ripples through her life and career. For many, it seemed impossible that such a seemingly perfect union could unravel, and the news left a lasting impact on the public perception of both Tia and her family. As Tia processed the end of her marriage, the rift between her and Tamara continued to grow. The sisters' relationship had evolved in ways neither of them could have predicted, and the pressures of life, career, and personal change left them struggling to find common ground. With Tia now facing the complexities of divorce and navigating life as a single mother, she was forced to confront not only her personal challenges but also the shifting dynamic with her twin sister. As the world watched, the once inseparable Mowry sisters were now on different paths, their relationship tested by time, distance, and personal growth. In an emotional Instagram post, Tia shared her decision to part ways with Corey, writing, "I have always been honest with my fans. And today is no different. I wanted to share that Corey and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain a friendship as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank My friends, family, and fans, for your love and support as we start this new chapter in our lives. The heartfelt message reflected Tia's sincerity and her commitment to maintaining a positive relationship with her ex-husband for the sake of their children. But the real story came when Tia appeared on the Today Show and opened up about why she decided to end her marriage. Tia explained that the turning point for her came when she realized it was time to prioritize her own happiness. She spoke candidly about how women, in particular, often put everyone else's children, family, and friends before themselves, forgetting to focus on their own needs and desires. For Tia, the divorce was about embracing self-love, knowing her worth, and making herself a priority. When I really started to focus on my happiness, I feel like women tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure everyone else is okay, our children, our friends, our family. But at the end of the day, it's about self-love. And when you really start working on yourself, loving yourself, knowing your value and knowing your worth, there's this awakening. It's not easy, but it's so worth it. The emotional interview also touched on her bond with her twin sister. Tia referred to Tamara as her life partner and her best friend, emphasizing just how much their relationship meant to her. She's always right by my side, and I love her, Tia said, expressing the deep connection they've shared throughout their lives. However, as the divorce announcement made headlines, things started to get messy between the two sisters. Just days after Tia filed for divorce, Tamara gave an interview where she publicly expressed her support for her sister. In her interview, Tamara said, "My sister just announced that she's getting a divorce. Does half of your heart break for her? You know, I support her. Whatever she wants, the Mowrys have her back. I love her dearly. She's strong, but I know right now she's kind of." Tamara's response seemed sincere but also hinted at the underlying tension and complexity of the situation. It was clear that while she stood by her sister, there were emotional layers yet to be fully revealed. The public show of support was genuine, but it also hinted at deeper, unresolved feelings that could no longer be ignored. This only added more fuel to the fire, and the tension between the two sisters only seemed to grow from there. Tamara decided to take a step back and process everything on her own, keeping things private for a while. As a sister, she knew it was important to respect Tia's wishes, but fans couldn't help but notice the timing of it all. Tia's announcement about her divorce happened to drop right when Tamara's book was released. People quickly started sharing their thoughts, with some even accusing Tia of stealing her sister's spotlight, making the whole situation feel pretty awkward. So, when Tamara made those supportive comments, some wondered if she was feeling a little left out, especially with all the attention now on Tia. Fast forward 2 years since the divorce bombshell, and Tia has been open and honest about her challenges. She even decided to share some of her awkward dating stories on Instagram, letting her followers in on the ups and downs of her new journey. Alright guys, what's up? I'm doing something different on my Instagram today. I've entered the dating scene and I thought I'd share some of my horror stories while taking off my makeup. Don't worry, no names will be mentioned, she said. Tia then dove into one particularly memorable date. So I went on a date with this guy at a restaurant. I thought, okay, what could possibly go wrong? I had seen a picture of him before, but when he showed up, I was shocked. He was way shorter than I expected. No big deal though. But then he sat down and, get this, he had a grill in his mouth. I'm thinking, where is that grill going to go? She continued with the bizarre details. He ordered drinks and food, and I just couldn't stop thinking about where this grill was going to end up. When the food arrived, he did the unthinkable. He took it out of his mouth and placed it right on the table. Right there on the table. Right there on the table. I mean, at least he had a napkin, but still, seriously? How old are we? I couldn't believe it. First dates are all about first impressions, and that definitely wasn't a good one. Tia ended with a lighthearted note. In that moment, I really wished I was on a speed date instead. At least then I'd know the clock was ticking. I could have just walked away and called it quits, but honestly, I couldn't. It was supposed to be a dinner, but it went on way longer than I ever expected. Ladies, I need your input. Am I overreacting here? Is it really no big deal to have a grill on the table during a date? After that night, I started noticing more people wearing grills, and now I'm wondering if maybe I'm out of touch or if it's just becoming a trend. What do you think? Would any of you wear one? That date was definitely a memorable first for me. And it made me realize that this whole dating process is a lot more complicated than I thought. It's something I never really had to navigate in my 20s, but now being in my 40s, it's been a real eye-opener. I'm learning so much about myself, what I like, what I don't like, and how I respond to new experiences. It's been fun, yet it's also presented its fair share of challenges. Now, naturally, as soon as the news about my dating life came out, rumors started to swirl. Some people even speculated that I might be regretting my divorce and thinking about reconciling with Corey. I shut that down fast though. Just because dating is tough doesn't mean I'm going to backtrack on something that didn't work for me. Think about it, if I don't land an acting role right away, does that mean I should just give up on my dreams? Absolutely not. The same logic applies here. I'm not going back to something that wasn't right for me, no matter how difficult dating may seem. But here's the thing, through all of this, I've really been trying to keep a positive mindset. When it comes to my divorce, I refuse to see it as a failure. In fact, I've shared in interviews that while the public may view going our separate ways as a negative thing, I see it as a victory. One of my friends even sent me a beautiful letter from a woman who went through her own divorce, and it really helped me reshape how I view the end of my marriage. I no longer see it as an ending, but rather as a celebration of everything I've gained from it. It's like graduating from school. Each chapter in life teaches you lessons, helps you grow, and ultimately shapes who you become. My marriage to Corey was no different. From it, I've created 2 incredible children. So to me, this chapter ending is more like a graduation, and I choose to celebrate that. I know some people have this belief that the only measure of success in a marriage is staying together forever, but I've learned that success isn't about longevity alone. For me, it's about happiness. It's about growth. Are you thriving in the relationship? Are you evolving as individuals? Life is way too short to remain in something simply because it's lasted a long time. What truly matters is your happiness. Are you living your best life? Even though I'm focused on staying positive, I'd be lying if I said it's been easy. On my series Tia Mowry, my new act, I got real with my audience about how hard it's been adjusting to life post-divorce. One of the hardest things for me to adjust to has been the routine of dropping my kids off at their dad's house. I've always had this ideal of the perfect family: mom, dad, and kids all living under one roof. So this new reality has been a huge shift for me. Honestly, it's something I've never really dealt with before. Back in the sister days, I was always with Tamara, and since then, I've always had someone by my side. So yes, this change has been enormous for me, but I'm learning to embrace it, and each day I try to find a way to make peace with this new chapter. It's not easy, but I know it's part of my journey, and I'm focused on moving forward, no matter how challenging the process may be. In a sense, everything from dating to divorce has become a deep, ongoing process of self-discovery. I'm learning to navigate life's curveballs, balancing the demands of being a mother, a public figure, and just a woman trying to find her way. It's definitely a challenge, but one that I'm slowly beginning to appreciate for all the growth it's bringing me. Life may not always look the way I imagined, but it's still beautiful and full of lessons, and that's something I can hold on to. Before settling down with Corey, Tia always had someone by her side, whether it was a friend, family, or her twin sister Tamara. But now, for the first time, she's navigating life solo, and wow, it's a lot. For someone who's always had someone to lean on, this shift is huge. On top of that, her go-to person, Tamara, isn't really there for her the way she used to be. The twins, once inseparable, are now living separate lives, and Tia is feeling the weight of it. I'm sure many of you can relate. After a big life change like a divorce, even with people around, it still feels like you're the only one going through it. Now, you think Tamara would be Tia's rock during this tough time, right? Well, not exactly. While Tamara has publicly praised Tia for prioritizing her own happiness, there's a huge difference between saying all the right things and actually offering real support when it counts. What really got people talking was when Tia shared how much she missed the close bond they once had. "I wish we were still close enough that I could just pick up the phone and call her," she admitted. But that's just not where we are right now. That little confession really got fans buzzing, and they began to wonder what happened between the sisters. Was it a falling out? What's the real story? But Tia quickly cleared things up, explaining that the distance wasn't emotional, it was more about where they live. Apparently, Tamara is now living in Northern California, which makes it hard for Tia to just stop by whenever she needs some sisterly support. People take things out of context, Tia explained. "I was talking about proximity. As siblings, we grow up, have our own lives and different responsibilities. We don't live in the same town, so that's what I meant. That makes sense, right?" But things got a little more awkward when Tamara revealed on the red carpet that she didn't even know about Tia's reality show. She found out just like the rest of us did. When asked if she'd be on the show, Tamara was straightforward. "She didn't ask me," she said. So I take that as a no, and when asked if she and her husband might show up as matchmakers, Tamara didn't hold back. "Tia is living her life right now, and she's doing Tia. I feel like she doesn't want any of our input, and I respect that." It's clear Tamara is giving Tia the space to do her thing, but it's still a little awkward seeing this play out publicly. So what do you think? Is Tia's struggle with her sister's distance just a part of growing up, or is something more going on here? Let me know your thoughts. Tamara knows her sister Tia better than anyone, so when she says she's not into the drama of reality TV, Tia totally gets it. Tamara's just not the type to get involved in the wild stunts or drama that come with those shows. She's always made it clear that's not her vibe, and Tia respects that. Meanwhile, Tia's out here doing her thing, staying classy at least on the surface. In a recent interview, she said it's totally normal for siblings to grow apart as they get older and start their own families. But she also emphasized that the love and bond between them will never go away. Sweet, right? Here's where things get interesting. Some fans are questioning if the actions match the words. It didn't take long for people to notice that the twins didn't even spend Thanksgiving together this year. Here's what happened. Tamara hosted a cozy Thanksgiving up in Northern California with her husband Adam, their kids, their parents, and their brother Taj. She posted adorable pics on Instagram sharing how much she learned from her mom about cooking turkey and ham. In her caption, she wrote, "Happy Thanksgiving. What a blessing to have my family up north this year, and what a treat to learn how to make turkey and ham for my mom. I was nervous, but learned you just have to dive in and go for it."
All right, guys, what's up? I'm gonna try to do something different on my Instagram. I have entered the dating scene, and I thought that as I take off my makeup, I would share some of my horror stories. Of course, no names will be named. I decided to go out on this date with this one guy. We decided to meet at a restaurant, and I was like, okay, fine, let's try that. What could go wrong? Now, mind you, I did know what this person looked like beforehand. Oh my God, I'm getting PTSD just telling this story. This is my life. So he ends up showing up, and he's a lot shorter than I thought that he was gonna be, which was pretty interesting, but no judgment here. But what was surprising to me was he ended up showing up with a grill in his mouth to a dinner. So the first thing that I'm thinking about as he sits down to order his food is, oh my God, where is this grill going to go? Oh my goodness. He's just ordering drinks and all of that. Great, awesome. He orders his food. And then again, I'm just really trying to figure out, where is he going to put this grill? So our food finally comes to the table. And again, I'm just like, okay, where is this grill gonna go? I was like, no, he's not just gonna take it out of his mouth.
However, things weren't as simple as they seemed on the surface. Fans continued to buzz about the situation, wondering what might be going on behind the scenes. The holiday season was just around the corner, and the big question remained, would Tia actually show up for Christmas? Were the sisters still willing to put their differences aside for the sake of family? The uncertainty surrounding their relationship created a sense of tension, with everyone wondering how things would unfold. The situation took another turn when a source close to the sisters spoke out to Media Takeout, revealing what they claimed to be the root of the conflict between Tia and Tamara. According to the insider, the issue stemmed from Tia's personality. The source described her as needy, someone who always craved the spotlight, and said that it had become exhausting for those close to her. Now that everyone is older, no one really wants to deal with her anymore, the source claimed. If these accusations were true, it would explain the increasing tension between the sisters. As they've grown and evolved, it seems the dynamic between them has shifted, and not in a positive direction. The idea of one sister constantly seeking attention while the other is more focused on her family and personal life could create friction, especially as time goes on and priorities change. With this new insight, it's clear that the road to reconciliation, if it happens, may not be as simple as a shared holiday meal. The dynamics between Tia and Tamara seem to be complicated, with deeper issues coming to light. While the sisters have had their ups and downs over the years, it's evident that the bond they once shared has been tested in ways many fans didn't expect. As the holidays approach, the world waits to see whether the Mowry sisters will manage to work through their differences, or if the distance between them will continue to grow. The situation is still unfolding, and only time will tell what the future holds for this iconic sibling duo. Naturally, fans are split on who's to blame. Some think Tia might just be going through a weird phase and pushing people away. One fan pointed out, no shade to Tia, but if you watched her and Tamara's show back in the day, she wasn't always the nicest to Tamara. So it's not really shocking they're not close now. You can't treat people poorly and expect them to stay close. On the other hand, some fans think Tia might be feeling neglected or misunderstood. One fan recalled how, when Tia announced her divorce, Tamara supported her publicly. It breaks my heart to hear Tia say she and Tamara aren't close anymore. Why all are twins? Another fan shared, I've always seen them as opposites, so it doesn't surprise me they're distant now. For the 90s kids who grew up watching Sister Sister, this divide is tough to watch. Whether it's old grudges, personality clashes, or just growing apart over time, this holiday season will say a lot about where their relationship stands. So, what do you think? Can the Mowry sisters work things out, or is this the start of a permanent rift? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think they'll have a heartfelt reunion, or is this sibling drama here to stay? Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Trust me, the next video is just as juicy.